Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Sunday, April 18th. We're going to be talking about some NBA DFS picks on DraftKings and FanDuel today. But before we get started, we're going to take a quick look back at yesterday's picks and see how they turned out. So these were going to be the updated lineups. And on the DraftKings side, we had Russell Westbrook, $10,900 looking for 55 points out of him. Got to 56.5, so he was a hit. Grayson Allen, who I did have all day, $4,200 looking for 21 points out of him. Got to 39.5, so he was a massive hit. Probably the first time I nailed Grayson Allen all year. Been a hard guy to track down, but that price tag of $4,200 yesterday was just too nice. And then small forward, I had Lonnie Walker or Devin Vassell. Whoever between the two ended up starting. Luka Samanic actually ended up starting. I stuck with Devin Vassell personally, so we're going to use him in this example. $3,000, looking for 15 points out of him. Got to 30.25, so he was a massive hit, 10 times value there. Then Jeremy Grant, $6,500, looking for 33 points out of him. He was a miss. He got 25.25. He actually was looking really nice. He had like over 20 points with like 18 minutes left in the game. And then just from that point on, just kind of choked the bed, honestly. So not sure what to say about that. Looked good on paper. Didn't end up quite as good. Then center possession, Tristan Thompson, $4,500, looking for 23 points out of him. Got to 17.5. So he was a miss. Not the best day for him overall. So overall, DraftKings was a little bit hit or miss, but some of the big hits were really good with Grayson Allen and Devin Vassell that probably made up for some of the misses. Then we move over to the FanDuel side. Kemba Walker, $6,800, looking for 34 points out of him. Got to 44.1, so he was a hit. Dylan Brooks at shooting guard, $5,000, looking for 25 points out of him. Got to 38.2, so he was a hit as well. Then Keldon Johnson, who, after all the Spurs were kind of out, he was looking pretty good. $4,300, looking for 22 points out of him. Got to 20.7, so he was a miss, but probably not one that killed you overall. And then Daniel Gafford, who I did like a lot at power forward, $3,800, looking for 19 points out of him. Got to 29.6, so he was a pretty good hit as well. And then last but not least, Tristan Thompson, $4,300, looking for 22 points out of him. Got to 19.2, so he was a miss, but probably not one that killed you completely overall either. So FanDuel, pretty good on that side overall. The two misses that we did have were not super bad misses by any means. So personally, I did pretty well on both sites, so I hope you guys did as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to the injuries for today. So obviously, we got the early slate, and then we got the main slate. So on the early slate, I'm going to run through it real quick. Pacers, Doug McDermott, and Miles Turner, both game time decisions once again. We'll see if either one of them ends up playing. For the Hawks, Dunn, Gallinari, Hunter, Reddish, and Snell are all out. John Collins is a game time decision, so maybe he's back today. And then we move over to the Pelicans and the Knicks. Josh Hart and Nickeil Alexander-Walker still out. Jackson Hayes, game time decision, looking like he should play, though. So no major changes there. And then the Knicks are exactly the same as they were last time with Alex Burks and Mitchell Robinson both out. Then we move over to the Nets and the Heat. Chiwuza, Harden, Tyler Johnson all still out, so same as last time out. And then for the Heat, Victor Oladipo is still out. Andre Iguodala, Jimmy Butler, both game time decisions. And Gabe Vincent is probable as always. Then we move down to the main slate, so it's going to be a 5-game main slate. So we got the Houston Rockets. They're going to be without the 6 guys that have been out the last 2 games at least. And then John Wall as well today. So Kevin Porter Jr. going to get a bump up. Avery Bradley, Armani Brooks could get a bump up as well. And then for the Magic, Otto Porter Jr., Michael Carter-Williams still both out. Mo Bamba game time decision. We'll see if he ends up playing or not. So Cole Anthony's looking pretty good today. Then we move over to the Thunder and the Raptors. For the Thunder, it's the exact same guys out as the last time out, so no changes there. For the Raptors, looks like Jalen Harris, Gary Trent, and Fred VanVleet are all game time decisions. We'll see who ends up playing out of that trio. Interestingly enough, in the projected lineup, it doesn't show Pascal Siakam, but he does not have an injury designation, so I expect him to start once again. Then we move down to the Trailblazers and the Hornets. So the Trailblazers are going to be without Damian Lillard once again. Zach Collins has been out all year. Then for the Hornets, LaMelo Ball, Darlin, Hayward, and Monk are all still out. Devonta Graham, PJ Washington, both game time decisions. We'll just have to see if they end up playing or not. And then we move over to the Kings and the Mavericks. So for the Kings, Rashawn Holmes, Marvin Bagley still out once again. So Hassan Whiteside is looking pretty good once again. Mavericks just have Terry out once again, so no changes there. Then we move to the last game of the night, and that's the Timberwolves and the Clippers. Timberwolves are without Beasley and probably without Noel once again today, so no real changes there. Then the Clippers, pretty much the same as they've been for a while now too as well. Jay Scrubb, Serge Ibaka, Patrick Beverley still out, Yogi Ferrell, and Kawhi Leonard both are game time decisions. But that's a quick little rundown on today's slate. 5-game slate, so maybe play a little bit lighter today. There should be some value that opens up later today. Usually happens on Sunday as well. They'll give guys an extra rest day, kind of rule guys out. Precautionary, more or less. But with that being said, we'll move over to DraftKings and talk about my picks over there. So at the point guard position, we got Anthony Simons for the Trailblazers, $3,600, looking for 18 points out of him, averaging about 14 on the season. He played more minutes the last game with Damian Lillard out. I expect that to continue once again. I think he's a guy that can get you 20 points or more tonight pretty easily, and he's a pretty good value play, at least early on in the day. Then at shooting guard, went with Kevin Porter Jr., looking for 33 points out of him at $6,600. He's averaging about 31 on the season. We've seen kind of what he can do when John Wall has been out this season, so definitely a guy with some upside there as well. Then small forward, we got Derrick Jones Jr., probably going to be in that starting lineup once again with Damian Lillard out. $3,300, looking for 16, 17 points out of him. That's about what he's averaging on the season. I know last game wasn't very pretty, but sometimes with him, you're going to have the games where you're going to get 8 points, but then sometimes you're going to have the games that you get 28 points as well, too. So it's just kind of a little bit of a roller coaster ride with him. But early on in the day, pretty solid value play. Then at power forward, I went with Maxi Kleber, $4,000, looking for 20 points out of him. Not too much you can say wrong about him. He's priced about right. That's probably what you're going to get out of him is 20 points. He goes against a Kings matchup that should be pretty favorable as well. Then last but not least, the center position, we got Hassan Whiteside. Kind of talked about him a little bit in the injuries. $5,500, looking for 27, 28 points out of him. He's averaging 19 on the season, but when he starts, closer to that 30-point range. So as long as he's getting the minutes, as long as he's getting a little bit of usage, he's going to be a guy that you want to have in your lineup tonight. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players on DraftKings tonight, you'll have $27,000 left over exactly. Not sure how I managed that one, but you'll have $9,000 per player. So definitely a lot of room and flexibility to spend up for at least 2 studs today. And with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my picks over there as well. On the FanDuel side at point guard, went with Cole Anthony, $5,000, looking for 25 points out of him. No Michael Carter-Williams once again tonight, so his minutes are pretty safe. As long as he's getting that usage, on a team that's not very good, he's definitely going to be in play. They're playing against a Houston team that's not very good defensively either, so definitely can't go wrong with Cole Anthony tonight. Then shooting guard CJ McCollum, $7,900, looking for 39, 40 points out of him, averaging 38 on the season. No Damian Lillard tonight. That's pretty much all you have to say with CJ McCollum. He's going to get an increase in shot volume, increase in usage, and he's just going to be an all-around better play than he typically is, so $7,900 looking like a very good price for him tonight. Then we move down to small forward, Kevin Porter Jr. Already talked about him on FanDuel a little bit, but $6,500 looking for 32, 33 points out of him. Very good matchup against the Orlando Magic as well. No John Wall tonight. That's pretty much all you have to say with him. When John Wall doesn't play, he's definitely a better player. Then we move down to power forward and center, and they're the same 2 guys that we do have on DraftKings. So at power forward, Maxi Kleber, $3,800, looking for 19 points out of him, just in line with what he's averaging on the season. Pretty much everything I said on the DraftKings side, a guy that's probably going to get you 20 points in a good matchup. Can't really go wrong there. Pretty good value pay that allows you to spend up at other positions. And then at center, Hassan Whiteside, $5,400, looking for 27 points out of him. Like I said on the DraftKings side, guy that's probably going to get you 28, 29, 30 points when he's playing a lot. He's not technically starting because they're still starting Damian Jones for like the first rotation. Then Hassan Whiteside comes in and plays. But as long as he's getting the minutes, he's the guy that can contribute in a big, big way. But if you go with these 5 players over on FanDuel today, you have $31,400 left over, $7,850 per player. So definitely a little bit of room and flexibility to spend up for some guys, find some value picks, and plug them in throughout the day. But with that being said, these are my picks for today, April 18th, on both DraftKings and FanDuel. As always, if you guys have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask. Definitely here to help you guys out the best that I can. And then as always, I'll be listing all the news, injury updates, and starting lineups down in the comments below. And with that being said, if you guys are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Really helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. And that's truly one for you, the viewers, helping you guys with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL, helping you guys with your fantasy football teams, talking all the different football news this offseason, including NFL draft, leading up to it, and a little bit of coverage and post reaction as well. If you guys haven't checked it out already, I did post my top 10 running backs in the 2021 NFL draft class yesterday. Definitely a good video. I definitely would recommend watching it if you are interested in the NFL draft, if you're interested in fantasy football or anything like that. If you're not, that's perfectly okay. Just tuning in for the NBA DFS videos. I get it. And with that being said, if you are a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily NBA DFS videos like this. Going to be posting some fantasy football content and some NFL draft content in the coming days as well. So definitely be sure to look out for that in the coming days if you guys are into that as well. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Hopefully you all do very well in the NBA DFS tonight. And as always, if you guys have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask. Definitely here to help you guys out the best that I can. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me. And I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.